Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko, and I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience. Currently, I travel the country and teach first responders, law enforcement, and leaders about courage, resilience, and leadership. Today on this Courage cast, we're going to talk about slowing the momentum, tactical patience in the field. So, when I talk about tactics, it doesn't have to be specifically towards law enforcement or military. Tactics are the methods you employ to achieve a strategy, to get something done. Tactics are the specific how. But what can happen is under stress, adrenaline can push us to move fast. And that speed can make us make mistakes. So, what happens is when our bodies experience stress, be it external or internal, especially situational stress, like you're arriving on a call, you're in a boardroom and have a difficult decision to make, our bodies have a reaction to that stress, be it fear or anxiety. But there's physiological reactions that can be an increase in heart rate, increased respiratory rate, and we all feel it. It's that fight or flight. Well, when that happens, our bodies fill with adrenaline and cortisol, and it can cloud decision making, but it can also drive us just to move faster. When you have that increase in energy, you feel like a coiled spring about to take off. It makes it difficult then to make those right decisions because when you're moving faster, you're not as accurate, whether it is in decision making, task completion. So slowing down in those moments allow you to gather better information and to make better decisions and safer decisions, especially if you're in the first responder community. But how do you slow down? And that's always my biggest complaint in training for this or reading, be it self-help books or books about fear. Right now, currently, you can see speakers talking about, well, just do it scared or start scared. Well, if it were that easy, then everybody would do it. So, what do you do to slow yourself down so then you have the tactical patience to be successful? There's a couple of things that you can do. And, the first off is controlling your breathing. Now, you can take day long workshops on breath work. And I'm not going to go through every aspect of breath work. When I teach my classes in person, I do go through all the different techniques. Today, I'll just give one example, and that's box breathing. Now, if you don't know what box breathing is, it's just in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And what you're doing when you're box breathing is you're a couple things happen. You're slowing down your heart rate. You're doing that by controlling your breathing. You're taking deeper breaths rather than those, short, shallow breaths that happen when you have that surge of adrenaline or cortisol. So you're getting more oxygen to your blood, and ultimately you're going to slow your heart rate down. And what that does can clear that fog of war so you're able to make clearer decisions in the moment. And also remember that, there's that old adage that smooth is fast. So sometimes we have to get the job done. We have to make the decision right now. We have to go. But so we think that acting fast is the right answer, where really the right answer is acting smoothly. And a lot of that comes through training. It's knowing what you need to do in those moments based on everything you had done to prepare for those moments. And also remember this tactical patience is what we're talking about. It's not hesitation. You're not freezing. You're not having that tactical paralysis, which I have a longer podcast coming out soon about tactical paralysis and how it affects leaders. But it's controlled action. It is constant forward movement, but you're controlled when you're doing it. A perfect example of this is when I was a new sergeant. So I was a leader. I had 10 brand new officers. We were on graveyard. And I went to my first barricade as a leader. Now, I've been on plenty of barricades before this as a canine handler, but as a canine handler, I was a tactical element. I would respond and take action. Whereas a leader, all eyes were on me. And I was in that proverbial fishbowl, right? As everybody is looking at you from all sides and also testing you. Are you going to make decisions? Are you going to freeze? Are you going to make the wrong decisions? And I felt a lot of anxiety when I showed up because I knew, although I had been on hundreds of barricades as a tactical element before, this was my first as a leader. And there was somebody inside a house. He had pistol whipped his spouse. She was out of the house, so she was safe. And we had the house surrounded, so we had a felony domestic violence. And now he was threatening suicide with the gun. And you get there and you want to make decisions, and you want to make decisions fast, and you want everybody to see that, you're the leader that, you know, that you should be in those moments. And I started to do that. I actually went too far forward and was with the team at the door as a sergeant. And there was I didn't have a lieutenant on scene. So my boss wasn't there. He was off. And but I became too emotionally involved in it, and it caught myself in the middle of it as I'm going too fast. I'm setting things up, but I'm not doing it in the correct manner. So I remember taking a couple deep breaths, stepping back, setting up a command post, and making sure that I had containment around the house. I had an element in case the subject came out. We had low lethal, lethal, and every resource available to us at 1 in the morning in downtown Las Vegas. And as the event continued, we were able to get communication with the subject. I also noticed an interesting effect is when I calmed down, all of the other officers on scene also calmed down. Now, remember, at this point, I was a newer leader and didn't realize the effect that my emotional state had on the people that were working for me at that time. So, after we established communication, he ended up coming out peacefully. We were able to take him into custody, effect the arrest, search the house, and do everything that we needed to do. But I did learn a valuable lesson in myself, and that was that smooth is fast. That in those moments when I feel that pressure, I feel that adrenaline, I feel the anxiety, I want to make all the right calls. Also, as a leader, I didn't want to put my people in harm's way unnecessarily. That things go well and the event proceeds smoothly. So remember that, and it does again doesn't matter if you're in law enforcement or if you're in business, is even though you don't feel like you have time and you have to rush, you always have more time than you think. And sometimes the pressures to be fast are internal. We're putting that pressure on ourselves because externally everything can move along at the pace that it needs to move along. You have the time to make the right decisions. You have the time to regulate your emotions through breath work, through that box breathing, and ultimately rely on your experience and your abilities to get the job done. So there's a level of confidence to that as well. And I'll talk about building confidence in some of my other podcasts coming up. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast today. Again, it's the Courage to Live podcast. If you liked what you heard today, please leave us a review or subscribe. I'm trying to get this message out there as much as I can, and I couldn't do that without you guys. So thank you very much.